In this video, I'm going to illustrate how to do a silver and then gold metallic effect on an object. In previous videos, I illustrated how to do a gold text effect. I think I did 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken. I also previously did a 3D blue steel text effect saluting the Pittsburgh Steelers during football season. My Steelers need all the support they can get during this upcoming rebuilding year. One of the gold text designs was used as a design for some shirts that I made. I'm going to use this image of the Statue of Liberty for the effect. So first what we need to do is to get rid of the color in this statue, and so I need to click on background, and then I'm going to add an HSL adjustment. So I'll click on adjustments and go up to HSL, and then I'm going to move the saturation slider all the way to the left, and that should get rid of all or most of the color. Then once I'm done with that, I can close that. Now what we need to do is all these adjustments that we need to make sure that they're inside of a group, or things are going to look really weird. So I'm going to right click on this HSL adjustment and then click group. And so everything is in a group. So you see here inside the group when we click the caret down and close it, and the group closes up. So we need to make sure that that happens. Okay, now I need to put my silver color in here, and we're going to do that by using a curves adjustment. So I'm going to click on adjustments again and then go up to curves. And what we're going to try to do is, see, we have this line here, and we're going to try to make it look like a snake. So I'm going to click this here and move this down, click this and move this up like that, and click this and move that down, and just make a snake type thing. And then once we're done with our snake, we can adjust it until we get the silver tone that we're looking for. So I'll just move these around, and boy, some of these can look really weird. Okay. Move that down. And if you don't like it, you can always delete the nodes. I mean, let's move this one over and see what it looks like. I'm kind of liking that for the silver. So I'm going to keep it like that, and amazingly enough, it always looks different every time I do this, and I've been using the same photo, so who knows. So now that I have my curves adjustment the way I want it, I'm going to close that and then make sure that my curves adjustment is inside the group. So it needs to be in the group so that when you click on this caret, not underneath the group, but inside the group. You need to be able to click on the caret and see everything in the group and close the caret, and then everything is gone. Okay, now I'm going to add a levels adjustment. So I'm going to click here and go up to levels, and then we have what looks like that, and then we can adjust our blacks if we want to do that, and adjust our whites in order to get the effect that we want. I'm kind of liking that. Okay, we can also fiddle around with this gamma thing, although I'm not liking that. So now this is all personal preference. So if you don't like the way something is, or you don't like the way I do it, it's not going to hurt my feelings. So when you try this out for yourself, and I hope you will, remember that this is a personal preference. Okay, so once we're finished with levels, we can close that, and then remember we need to move our levels down into the group. So now it's in the group. We can click the caret and make sure it is not just below the group, but inside of it. So now we have our group. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a mask, because what we need to do is get our sky back. That's what we're doing, and then just keep the silver lady out here. So To do that, we need a mask that is black. So I'm going to press Alt and then add a mask like that. And then notice that everything looks like it went back to the way it was before, but that's because everything is covered up. Check up here to make sure that you have a black circle and a white circle. And if you don't remember which one reveals and which one doesn't reveal, you can see that when we start using our brushes, and I'll point that out if you don't really remember whether it's, which one reveals and which one covers up. Okay, so in order to do this, make sure you open up the group and we have our mask selected. Otherwise, it's not going to work and you're going to cry. Okay, now, in order to paint this over, I need to use brushes. So I'm going to make sure my mask is selected and then go over here to brushes and go over here and select the brush tool. And the brush I want is not 20 dust brushes, but it's going to be just a basic round brush, and I'm going to go down there and get this one. Notice that it looks like that we've got a crosshair, but we really don't. It's because the brush is really, really small, and to make that bigger, we just press our bracket key. And to get a beat on things, I'm going to go Control and plus, plus, plus to come in on this. Now, notice that the black's in the front and the white's in the back. If you're not sure, if you can't remember the saying, white reveals and black hides, all you have to do is to look at what's going on there, and then as I roll my mouse over our lady here, nothing is happening, and that's because we have the wrong thing selected. We have to select white. Now look, as we go over like that, we have our the right one selected, and we're just going to paint over that until we get all of this stuff painted off. And so I won't bore you to tears with all this. I will be back after I'm done. Okay, I'm going to zoom back out, and now we can take a look at if we have any cleanup on aisle 5. If you do, and you kind of paint it over this too much, then you can go ahead and click on the black and then just take it off. So pretty much what you're doing is when you paint, you're going to alternate between the white and the black on this. But this looks pretty good right now, and I think I'm going to stick with that and move on to the gold one. So to do that, I'm going to need to go back to my layers over here and close up my group and go back to my group and click on that one. So there is our silver lady. Now we're going to go on to make the gold lady, and to do that I'm going to need to bring in some gold color, and to do that I'm going to go File and Place and then go into my gold here, and the one that I decided to use was this one right here. So I'm going to open that up and I'm going to place it down here, and this is where I'm going to get my gold colors for the statue. So to do this, we need a gradient map, and that's because we're going to be mapping these gold colors onto the statue and the shadows and all that stuff of Our Lady. So remember, you need to click on the group or weird things are going to happen. And then I need to go down to adjustments and then go up here to this thing that says gradient map. And that's going to open up the gradient map. Now, this gradient map, remember, needs to be inside the group. Notice that when it's not inside the group, we have a gradient on the sky, and we don't want the gradient on the sky. We want it to be inside the group. So I'm going to move this down into the group, and now we have our sky back, and we're just working on the Statue of Liberty in this case. Okay. Now, in order to set up the gradients, there are a couple of things you need to remember. On the red side, that's going to be the darks. And on the blue side, that's going to be the lights. And everything else is in the middle. That's really all you need to know for this. So I'm going to click on the red side, which is going to be the darks. And I'm going to click on this color box and take the color picker and go over here, and I'm going to select the darks for one side. So there I have the darks right there. And so I've done that, and I'll click off of it so you can see what happened right there. Then I'm going to do my lights, and then I'm just going to fill it in. So click on the blue side, which is the lighter shades. Click on the color box. Take the picker and click on the lightest part of this thing that we can find, which is right there. And that's going to give us our lighter color. So down here we have the darker one, and over here we have the lighter one, and then we're going to put the middle tones inside. Actually, I kind of like this green and yellow thing, but anyway. So I'm going to click on the box, then I'm going to go up to the color picker and choose some shade that is somewhere in between and do that. Okay, so now we have our gold gradient on top of our Statue of Liberty, and we have our gold lady. So let me turn this off so we can see the whole thing. Sometimes if you don't like the shades, you can add in more points right there, and then you can have different color of shade, different kinds of shading all over the place. I did this before when I was doing the color photo of my great-great-grandfather. I did a gradient map for his skin because skin is really hard to do. And if you're going to do something metallic that has a lot of lights and darks tones to it, just painting it over with some gold color is just not going to cut it. Now I've decided I'm liking that, and so I'm going to see what else we can do. If you look down here, you'll see that there's blend mode. Sometimes I hate doing this, and sometimes I like it, but I'm going to take a look at the blend modes. We can always go back to normal if this looks really bizarre. So there's darken, and there's multiply, and there's color burn. Oh, that looks interesting. Linear burn. If you want some kind of an effect like that, darker color, lighten, screen. Some of these, of course, are not appropriate, but some of them, I mean, whatever you do, I really like hard light. You know, I think I'm going to go with hard light. The last time I went with color dodge, let's take a look again. There's darken, there's multiply, color burn. I like that, except it's not really gold, so, and that kind of the point. Linear burn, darker color, lighten, no. Screen, color dodge, I like that. If it were just a little darker, add lighter color, overlay, but all of these give you some kind of a metallic thing, hard light. I think I'm going to go with hard light. I'm not going to keep it on a normal blend mode. I'm going to click hard light, and that's what I'm going to go with. And there we have our gold lady. So give this a try yourself and let me know how it turns out for you. Remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to stay informed when my next video drops. Now, as a side note, I've been having an issue with Affinity and would like to know if any of you are having the same issues. Sometimes my shortcut keys will stop working. To get them re-enabled, I had to do a shortcut key reset, and sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. If that doesn't work, I either restart the program, which works most of the time, or I restart the whole computer. This has happened a couple of times over the last couple of days. Several weeks ago, I had it happen. But once I restart the computer, I don't have this problem, and I don't have it in any other program. So if you have this problem, let me know in the comments, and if you have any suggestions, I would really appreciate it.